Hi, cuties. How are you doing this afternoon, Maddie? Whoopee. It's lovely Tuesday evening. Did you guys watch the Nintendo Direct this morning? I'm pretty sure it was made specifically for me. To be honest. It was Puggies. Yeah, I think there was one game at least. There was definitely at least one. Yeah, like Xenoblade, a new 2D turn-based Final Fantasy. Gosh, like freaking Dragon Quest Monsters. They actually showed off the Tales of Eternia with a release date, which that's actually coming out for everything. Also the Muramasa, the Demon Blade remaster, and that's really interesting in the fact that it's going to be on PC, because Vanillaware never puts their games on PC. Even in interviews, they've mentioned they really would rather not have their games on PC, so it's interesting they actually changed their mind on that. Which, like, I feel like that needed to happen at some point, because, like, the PC gaming audience is really probably the biggest audience right now. Oh yeah, that's right, Onimusha. The new Onimusha is actually getting a Switch 2 version. Okay, Whoopi, I guess you guys can have a quick history lesson before we start Kirby. And I do actually plan on playing these games on stream sometime. Okay, Onimusha is a series from Capcom, and it's kind of like... It's similar to Resident Evil, but it focuses on melee combat, and it takes place in, like, you know, Shogun-era Japan. The first game was actually, like, pretty close to the launch of the PS2. It came out in 2001, around the same time as Devil May Cry. Oops. And it got 3 more games on PS2. It got a Game Boy Advance, like, tactical RPG spinoff. And then it just kind of went dormant for years. This is literally the first Onimusha game ever made for HD. Though they did remaster the first 2 games on pretty much every modern platform. Sort of wanting to see if there'd be an announcement of some kind of Tomo update, but I'm not bummed about it not being one, especially the other fun things shown off. Yeah. That and all 3 of the regular Xenoblade games have Switch 2 upgrades. I already bought the upgrade for the first game, like minute 1 that it was available. First you draw a circle, then you dot the I's, add a great big smile, and presto, it's Kirby! But yeah, they added a lot of fun quality of life and stuff to the, to Xenoblade 1. He is the famous Kirby of Dreamland. Right or left makes Kirby walk or dash. Press the A button and Kirby jumps. Slide by pressing down and A. Press up and Kirby can fly over stuff. The B button makes him inhale enemies. Press down to eat an inhaled enemy. Kirby can take the enemy's power. Fire! Youch! Kirby uses the fire attack. Hit select to drop a special power. Spark! This electrical attack paralyzes. Ice! Freeze an enemy and toss him. Sword! Kirby's brave when he has a sword. Parasol! Take a nice walk for a short break. Fireball. Kirby burns up for a powerful attack. No demon hipster checks, though. When a big enemy's defeated, eat him. Kirby can use 6 tricks to win. Kirby has lots of moves. Try them. That's it. See you in the game world. One day, the peaceful life of Dreamland was shattered by a mysterious crisis. The inhabitants didn't dream. Also, hi Cole, how are you doing on this lovely Tuesday? On the edge of Dreamland, dreams and hope once gushed forth from the Dream Spring, fueled by the Star Rod. Investigating the Dream Spring, Kirby found the naughty King Dedede swimming in its magical waters. Dedede had broken the Star Rod and given the pieces to his friends who are now hiding in Dreamland. To bring back the lost dreams, Kirby sought the Star Rod. Yep, and that's the story. This is the direct follow-up to the first Kirby's Dream Land. Confusing as this may be, Kirby's Dream Land 2 is not the sequel to Kirby's Dream Land. This is. Vegetable Valley! Hi, Rain. How are you doing on this lovely Tuesday evening? Check my pulse, the direct killed me. It's okay, Cole. Like, you weren't using the pulse for anything. We could get you a cocoon, though. Excited for Tales of Eternia. I'm glad we finally got a date on Tales of Eternia, even though, like I said, that got leaked. But yeah, unlike the first Kirby's Dream Land, which is pretty much linear level-to-level progression, you have a little, like, hub world in Kirby's Adventure. Because I actually played this before Dreamland. Being tired and side questing in Final Fantasy XIV. But yeah, even though in the first Kirby game you could just jump, walk, and then puff up with the up button, you have like a whole suite of moves just like you saw. So Kirby's actually got like default moves and stuff. And we got Beam. Yeah, it is crazy how much depth is added to Kirby's Adventure in comparison to the first game. Ow. Get back here. Just like the move set, everything. Because this is also one of the Kirby games that Sakurai directly worked on. I love the little water effect in the background and everything. Yeah, this is on the original NES, by the way. I originally wanted to play NES games using the NES Joy-Con controllers, which I do own, but they are a pain in the ass to use with the Switch, too. Because, yeah, they have the little sync button at the top, so you don't have to use the Joy-Con rails or anything. But the only way to charge them, much like original Switch 2 Joy-Con, is to hook them up to the rails. So I would have to resync them with my Switch 1 and then resync them with my Switch 2 again whenever I wanted to use them. That reminds me, I need to add June 14. Oh, really fun little thing here. There's actually a secret in the very first stage here. See these little blocks by the waterfall? Notice how 3 of them have a shadow? Just go here and... it's a secret door! Oh, okay. Try that again. Ahem. Fuck! No, 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 that's not what happened. Drop Spark. Also, I'm not going to be using Rewind. I just was really stupid there. But yeah, this is UFO. It has several different modes. If you tap the B button, you can get a little zappy zap laser. Hold it for a sec, you can get a laser beam. You can charge it up for a super star shot. You can also fly freely in 8 directions. Ow. Well, that was very short-lived. I'm gonna game over on the first level in a Kirby game. Well, regardless, UFO is really powerful, but honestly, it's so powerful it makes the game a little bit boring sometimes. But the thing is, unlike other abilities with UFO, it will actually, you'll lose it whenever you finish a stage. I'm good at video games, you guys, I promise. Also, an interesting little thing you'll notice, when Kirby has a power, he's actually kind of slightly orange tinted, kind of a salmon color. Because if I drop the power I have, Kirby goes back to being a more softer pink. It's a subtle little thing, but it's a way to indicate you have a power, even though the HUD on the bottom shows it. Video games! Thank you, Rain, for the 15 stream streak. You probably noticed that these doors are orange with a little flashing star. If the star is still flashing, that means you haven't cleared the stage yet. If the door's white, you found every secret in that stage. So much like Super Mario World, the stages in here do have secrets. We have a little crane game here. Use the buttons to move the crane and try to get a Kirby. The big one's hard to get, but worth it. Press A to move the little claw here. You can grab this little Kirby. This has like actual physics and shit. You usually get 2 runs of it. Let's go for the big curb. Big curb. We have came to terms. Big curb. Ah! But yeah, the little Kirby's get you 1 extra life, and a big Kirby gets you 2. Granted, it's a little weird to put that right after the first stage, but I guess it's supposed to show you that minigames. They're not like anybody be losing their lives on the first stage of a Kirby game. Glorp. Yeah, if you swallow an enemy that has no power, it'll just give you a little nothing. Give me nothing, queen. Those cannons up there are indestructible. And they'll kind of track your movements, but not super quickly. But I went cutter! Also, this is the first game where Kirby could, like, use his power, like, use enemies' powers and stuff and absorb their abilities. I bet I could destroy them, but okay. I think my favorite thing about Destiny and Eternia is they're just country bumpkins. Pink being. Hi, Soda. How are you doing on this lovely Tuesday afternoon? Well, I guess it'd be like Wednesday morning for you at this point. Yeah, we're playing some Kirby's Adventure. We did actually beat Kirby's Dream Land back in the Game Boy stream, and this is the direct follow-up. Also, in Kirby's Adventure specifically, if you take 1 hit, you drop your ability. So you do have to be careful in that way. Yep, we're playing some Kirby's Adventure where I definitely did not die on the first level. Come on. This is the crash ability. This one, see how Kirby's flashing and all, this is one of the screen nuke abilities. Basically, you press B and it will wipe out every enemy on the screen, and then you go back to normal mode. Direct was hype, can't sleep because of it. It was crazy. Also, apparently Japanese Xenoblade Twitter, like the official Twitter account, has confirmed that Xenoblade Genesis is going to be like a new setting and everything. Ooh, wait, let's get Spark. Yeah, Just like in Kirby's Dream Land, the M tomatoes are a full health refill if you grab one. And they do have the little soda bottles in here too. Have me in this? Yeah, you restore 2 health, just like in real life. Ooh, we got sword. From Sal TV. Hi, Sal. Hi, Gusty. Thank you so much for the raid. Pikmin, you're close. It definitely has pink involved. But how are you guys all doing on this lovely, well, it's Tuesday evening for me. It's probably like Wednesday something for you guys. That's what I was doing. Don't worry about it. Howdy raid, Shadow Leg Ins. But yeah, we're playing some Kirby's Adventure on the Switch Online. Well, they're doing a remaster of the 15th anniversary of Ocarina of Time 3DS. I mean, hey, time is a loop. We are once again the second console in a series based on Nintendo's best-selling handheld is once again getting remakes of Nintendo 64 games. Get sorted. Most of the abilities in this game just have one function on the B button, but Sword actually has a few. You can do the regular slash, you also have a swirling slash when you jump. Womp. Well, hope you enjoy yourself. I streamed for like 10 hours today. Wow, Sal. Go ahead and have a nice night, day, evening. Well, it's evening for me. Yeah, go get yourself some food, Sal. Oh my gosh, get yourself some rest. But thank you so much for the raid, and thank you everybody for dropping by. Breadbug Genius. Hi, Breadbug. Welcome in. And also for all the raiders and new people watching, my name is Mott's the Gaming Mouse, aka Makea. I love retro games. We love RPGs, platformers. We play all kinds of stuff here. So if that sounds cool and fun, you can find a spot just for you in front of the big old CRT TV. Grab a controller, and we can play our favorite games together. Which is an excellent choice. Soda Room, thank you for the streak, Soda. 3. Use the sword to defeat enemies. If you attack in midair, Kirby will spin and slash. Yeah, each of the because keep in mind, this is an NES game, but this came out like 1993, so it actually has like full tutorial text and stuff. Smoosh. Get smooshed, get smooshed. Get smooshed, get smooshed, get smooshed. Give him that side smoosh. Ah! Oh, rip sword. Demon time. Oh. I will say, like, my one controversial Kirby hot take. I do not like the float being on the up on the D-pad. I much prefer like from Superstar onward, where float is double tapping jump. This is Fireball. Fireballs. It basically gives you an air dash, which is all kinds of fun. Your mom's cool about you DBZ gummies. There are DBZ gummies. I want some. Oh, well, we're underwater now. You can't... Most abilities cannot be used underwater. There are a few that can, like Parasol and Sword. Makes more sense for floating and to be jumping over and over. Yeah. Ugh. Pre-ordered Rhythm Paradise Groove. Also pre-ordered the Xenoblade updates. Hoping replay through Xenoblade 2, since to me it... Well, I will say Xenoblade 2 is my favorite out of the original trilogy. I think, like, it's not the weakest. I would say it's probably the best from both story and gameplay, IMHO. My big issue with Xenoblade 2, as far as the is actually the technical and performance issues. The game was very definitely rushed. Because you got to keep in mind, like, Xenoblade Cross or Xenoblade X, whichever, they keep going back and forth on what it's officially called. Tomater. But Xenoblade Cross only came out in 2015 for Wii U, so it was less than 2 years of development for Xenoblade 2. Also, I guess you guys get a free fun game trivia fact. The Breath of the Wild games run on a heavily modified version of Xenoblade Cross's engine, which is also what Xenoblade 2 and 3 is. Get another bonus thing. Oh, a museum. Here's a colorful display of enemies with special abilities. Eat the one you want. Yep. Because this museum's cool, because you can just come get a power. The S word. There's red Goku, orange a Dragon Ball, yellow Nimbus. Blue Capsule, green Piccolo, and purple Vegeta. Oh, like they official and stuff? I was actually watching the Direct before I got distracted by streams. I'm at the part where they're showing off Dragon Quest monsters. The new Dragon Quest monsters looks cool. I actually picked up Dark Prince like on clearance on Steam. Or clearance, it's not, I don't know if you can call it clearance when it's a digital, but they're not clearing out digital files. It's the goo monster, which is purple, took over Vegeta. That's fun. Number 4. Yeah, the little Poppy Bros here don't give you a power. At least not in this game. Ow! Walrus. Get your butt smacked. Ice time, baby. Breeze. Bonk. Yeah, this is the one power in the game that'll change Kirby's color to more than just like the kind of salmon-ish color. Comes a blue Kirby, a blurby. Though with multiplayer introduced in the series, they would kind of drop the whole ice power turning Kirby blue thing because, you know, you can actually play as a blue Kirby in the multiplayer. Wars keeps having its French name stretched. I think I remember hearing something about that. Oh, that's right. If you absorb an enemy and a dropped star, you'll get the star's ability. I feel like Kirby's always had a weird thing with a lot of its European localizations. One of the most noticeable is that a lot of Kirby games will have different names in Europe, like Kirby's Return to Dreamland is called Kirby's Adventure Wii, or Kirby Superstar in Europe is called Kirby Fun Pack. But then when those games get a remake, the remake will have the American version of the name. So, you know, you had Kirby's Return to Dreamland, which got called Kirby's Adventure Wii, and then the Switch remake is Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe in Europe. Same thing, like, there's, you know, Kirby's Fun Pack on Super NES, but its DS remake is called Kirby Superstar Ultra. Love the blue Kirby. Always one of my favorite to play in Smash Bros. Games. Hi, Kitsune Only. How are you doing on this lovely Tuesday evening? I always love in, Oop, who's that mysterious person throwing me a lollipop? Yeah, the invincibility pops work the same way they did in Dreamland 1. You stay undervincible for a couple seconds. And also, this slowdown isn't the stream. The game is just like this, even on original NES hardware. I am really bad at that end level thing where you're supposed to launch Kirby. But yeah, I can imagine that a lot of people in Europe picked up, like, Kirby Return to Dreamland Deluxe on a Switch or whatever, and then they, like, start playing it and they get, like, 20, 30 minutes into it and, like, wait, what the fuck? This is just Kirby's Adventure Wii. Because, like, in a lot of the circle of friends, that I have, and like a lot of people around me probably know, it's really easy to get caught up in the echo chamber of assuming everybody just has all the knowledge you and your friends have. But, you know, the regular people aren't gonna know, like, that this or that game is from, you know, fucking 2007 or something. Because, like, an example today when they were showing off Muramasa Rebirth, there were a lot of people in, like, because I watched some, like, stream reactions and stuff earlier today after my brain's, give me just a sec. Sorry. I watched some VODs of reaction streams earlier today for the Nintendo Direct, and I think it was in Sarah Key's chat, somebody was like, wait, is this a new game from Vanillaware? They're the guys who made 13 Sentinels. Like, a lot of people just don't know that a lot of these older games exist. That's why remakes and remasters being released so much is really important, actually. And so for most people, Muramasa is a brand new game because nobody bought it on Wii, except like me and maybe like a small handful of other like nerds. And it also came out on Vita, but most people who would have bought a Vita would also be the same people who would have known it was on the Wii because they'd be the super duper in the know game nerds. Still don't understand the in-level mini game to this day. Which one? Oh, you mean for, sorry. Okay, I have really bad streamer brain sometimes where whatever I've done or said leaves my brain after like 30 seconds. But yeah, you're talking about the one where you're the launching thing. Like, I don't know if I'm supposed to hold A, like it's a slingshot, if I would need to wait till it gets to the bottom of the screen. Yeah, Fortune Street being called Boom Street's really weird. See, watching Nintendo's reaction kept dying. Let's see here. Motivated you to make an RPG maker. Yep, I am very much looking forward to whatever you end up making in Soda. Even if it's just a tiny little like thing you can beat in an hour or two, I'm still looking forward to seeing what you work on. And also, hi 7th, how are you doing on this lovely Tuesday? We're playing some Kirby's Adventure. We just finished Vegetable Valley. We're about to go fight the epic throwdown with the ultimate boss, Wispywood. And yeah, Muramasa is definitely the sleeper announcement, but I am very happy to see how many people are legitimately excited for Muramasa. Because I have never gotten the Vita version either. Oh, also, we beat Wispywood, so we got the first Star Rod piece. We even get a little clear thing on the HUD. Got to keep on dancing. Inspiration to make one's own art is the strongest things about art. Absolutely. Ice Cream Island. Dang. My dreams hit me with a hammer sometimes too, Kirby. Yeah, I never got to play the Vita version, even though I had a Vita. I had a weird issue. I tried to pre-order it when it was new at GameStop. But I had a weird issue with it, like my pre-order wouldn't go through, and they never got any copies, and I never have seen a physical copy of that game at any point in my life. Like, aside from online. And, like, I feel like Muramasa... Ow, motherfuck. I feel like Muramasa Rebirth is one of those games that was, like... $80 on the secondhand market from the moment it existed. Aside from Muramasa, share it with friends and plan on picking it up. Yes, I'm absolutely going to be picking it up, even though I still have my Wii copy, and I still haven't actually finished the whole game. Apparently, the Wii version is a bit pricey, too. Not as pricey as the Vita version. Also, those exploding coconuts, if you have the parasol, they'll just harmlessly poof. Yeah, like I said before, the parasol is one of the few weapons you can use underwater. A few abilities, I should say. And there's Scarfy from the original game back again. Remember, don't suck him, or he'll fucking try to kill you. Do we want S-word, or do I want my pistol? I really like parasol, though I much like it in Kirby's Superstar. I love its moveset in that game. We'll go with S-word. But yeah, 7th, as you can probably guess, I was popping off like crazy during the entire Direct. I was joking in KIRBY'S Discord that Direct was just for me, specifically. Ow, fuck, I'm on fire. Well, looks like we're going Parasol after all. They also finally got the date for the KIRBY'S... Not KIRBY'S. Tales of Eternia remaster, and they showed off the new Atelier as well. Though both Eternia and the new Atelier got much more in the Japanese version of the Direct. Spin! Get slurped. Tornado! Tornado hold! Bana Araki! Feel my power! Xenoblade announcement. Yeah, I know someone who that'll be happy about that. Teehee. Yo, number 2, hell yeah. I love all the little balloons and everything in the background. Tales of Puyo Remastered. I would love a Kirby RPG. That would make my forever. Okay, this minigame is kind of a pain in the ass, but we're going to try to do it anyway. Press the buttons to make Kirby's mouth open. Try to eat eggs, but not bombs. I mean, that's just good life advice in general, right? Also, I never noticed this because I played Adventure first. But they're actually reusing the arena from the original Game Boy game. You can eat bombs, but only once. Don't have a Switch 2 because I can't really afford to keep up with consoles anymore. I still want to keep up with Nintendo. I do like the work of the developers. Maybe one day we'll get to play the games, whether it be through used consoles or the dreaded emulation. No, I am very pro emulation. As a matter of fact, pretty much all my early streams were on emulators because I didn't have a capture device. But, like, I feel like just making games available is important. Keep in mind, a lot of the stuff shown off in the Nintendo Switch stuff is going to be on PC, or in the Nintendo Direct. It's also going to be on PC and stuff, which is kind of like the most accessible platform in the world. Because you kind of need one to do your taxes and shit. So, well, okay, I know you don't have to do taxes outside of the US. Yeah, here's one of the most fucked up gaslights that you don't learn until you're adult if you were born in the United States. Having to, quotation marks, get your taxes done or whatever, that's purely an American thing. In almost every other developed nation, your taxes are just done, just given to you automatically. Because, like, the government already knows your tax information IRL. So you're basically just have to they make you do a pop quiz in the United States. Also, look, my score is 69,060. Nice. I'm just admiring the little water background. Spin! Okay, I want needle. See, this is a perfect game for someone with ADHD because you're just finding new things all the time. Bonk. Kirby the Hedge Curb. Ooh, pretty waterfall. This was actually one of my first NES games. I've mentioned before that when my mom was in college, she bought an NES, which was ostensibly for her, but it ended up being mostly for me, and she kind of did it that way on purpose. But yeah, the 3 games, because she bought the NES off of her college friend. I must have in context, like, at this point, the original PlayStation was almost out, probably. But she bought an NES, and she got Kirby's Adventure, Felix the Cat, and the Super Mario Bros. Duck Hunt combo cartridge were the 3 games from the person she bought it from. Which is like one of her friends in college. And so, you know, I had an NES to play. I still remember, like, there was this one movie shop that they still had NES games available for rent, like, even after the PS1 and Saturn came out. I think, like, when the N64 came out, they finally sold off their NES games to make room for PS1 and N64 stuff. Because they had, like, Super Nintendo and Genesis, too, but they just kept having NES games available. Keep in mind, though, this was, like, the area I was living in. Well, I still kind of live around the same place, but it was, like, much more rural, so I guess people just had older game systems and stuff longer. But yeah, like, I actually have a fun story with that, because, like, the first Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers I bought off eBay a while ago for NES. And, I remember beating it, and I loved it, and it's become one of my favorite games. But the thing is with that is that there was a level I distinctly remembered from that game where you, like, go into a sink and you, like, you know, go in, like, you ride a sauce pot like a boat to, like, get to the top of the sink. And I'm like, wait, that level wasn't in the game. I remember it so vividly as a kid. Turned out I had rented Rescue Rangers 2, which is an absurdly rare NES game. Which, well, thankfully it's not rare anymore because the Disney Afternoon Collection is available on all platforms and you can just play it there. But it's kind of funny to think I interacted with such a rare NES game without even knowing it. I didn't even know it was the second one. I was, like, so little at the time. Yeah. Lots of needles, just like a porcupine's, come out of Kirby. It's a great defense. Yeah, I have played Kirby's Adventure a lot. Of all people, Star Fox remixed over the Mario Kart Live Home Circuit dev. That's cool. My PC is my main entertainment station. Getting used or even less powerful PC parts over time. It's a lot more affordable than consoles now. Very strange to think. It's not that long ago it was exactly the opposite, yeah. Cool, got to enjoy the end. I was born in 1999. Never saw an NES in person. Had a hand-me-down Super Nintendo, PS1, and an N64. Most games on PS1 and N64 sports or hunting games. Gross. No, I'm just kidding. There's nothing wrong with sports or hunting games. They're just definitely not my field. The only reason I think my instinctive response there was gross, and again, I'm not actually making fun of anybody for liking those, is just because the kind of people and the experiences I've had where I'm like, working at a new job or whatever, and I'm there, and I'm like, OMG, I love talking about video games, and they're like, oh yeah, I love video games, and I'm like, oh cool, what do you play? And they're like, they lift us a bunch of sports games and like Grand Theft Auto and Call of Duty, and I'm like, okay, so you don't actually like video games. I see. I'm mostly kidding by that, by the way. Similar problem. I don't remember what Pokemon Mystery Dungeon I played as a kid. Forgot if it was the OG, the game, or Guardians of the Sky. Okay, I think you're thinking of Explorers of the Sky, which is the second game, but it's kind of like the Pokemon Emerald version of that game. If you remember it having any Gen 4 Pokemon, then it has to be the second game. Because Explorers of Time and Explorers of Darkness are the same game as Explorers of the Sky. Explorers of the Sky is just the expanded edition. Fan of sports running. Also, Breadbug, I was just going to throw out there, are you in the US or in Europe? Because I know in Europe, the original Nintendo did not sell very well. Nintendo really wasn't on the map in Europe until the Super Nintendo came out. because Street Fighter 2 was a Super NES exclusive, and that was huge in Europe, especially in Britain. So, like, a lot of times I think people who were born, you know, at the end of the 90s or later don't know that, like, because I feel like a lot of voices talking about retro games online are American, and it drowns out the conversation and kind of creates a little bit of revisionist history when Europe's history of video games was very, very different prior to, like, the Xbox 360 or whatever. Wish I'd had, like, Mario, Zelda, or Spyro and Crash. It did have DK64 and Rayman. Hey, those are good ones, though. I mean, Boygaville. You live in the country of barbecue, as in, like, Yokai Watch 3 calls it. Like I said, I don't like to go assuming nationalities because, again, a lot of American content... Well, I don't hate the term content creator, but a lot of American streamers and stuff just kind of assume people watching are American or have that history. Ah! The giant wheelie enemy. Which I, okay, I had a perfect name for these. I don't know what their official name is, but I always called them Papa Wheelie. Like, you know, Papa, like Dad. Eagle Land! I love the little tire screech. See, it looks like a wheel when he's, like, moving, but I feel like when he stops, he looks like a record. You spin me right round. Glorp. Also, the tiny wheels he sent out at me, which are just regular wheelies, would have also given me this power. But yeah, we're in the desert. Time to ride. Head out on the highway. See, there's a soda bottle. It's your first appearance in the game, Soda. Bonk. Yeah, there was no video game crash in Europe. And also, the Sega Master System fucking dominated everything for a couple years there. Because, like, Sega really has the position in Europe that Nintendo has for North America. Because the Mega Drive sold way better than the Super Nintendo, especially in Britain. Cameo teehee. There's a lot of American centrism in general online, even outside the scope of video games. Yeah. Because I always found it really weird that the, while I'm glad it was the same lineup, the Super NES Classic in both Europe and North America had the same game lineup, which I'm not complaining. That's some of my favorite games of all time. You know, Secret of Mana, Final Fantasy VI, Super Mario RPG. The thing is, half the games on there didn't release in Europe, so it's not really a nostalgia machine. It's just a really efficient way to play old games. Even more so because the RPGs on the Classic didn't have French or Italian or Spanish localizations included, even in the European release. Unless I'm mistaken, isn't Mighty Cuphead Adventure actually developed with old hardware in mind? Oh, it goes one step beyond that, Soda. They're actually making real Master System cartridges of it that you can get. So it's literally running on the Master System. Kirby turns into a wheel and can move at super speed, but watch out for obstacles at excess... Watch out for obstacles and excess speed. Okay, sorry, I had a dyslexia. For context, I'm not just saying that for the memes. I am literally dyslexic. You can ask chat. I have line reads that I redo over and over. Especially with RPGs, I tend to read all of the dialogue with, like, character voices and stuff whenever I'm doing a game that doesn't have voice acting. So there have been numerous times where I've had to, like, fucking take a minute for a line read. Doesn't look like it. It definitely... Okay. The thing is with Master System, I feel like it unfairly gets kind of underestimated. The Master System's a decent bit more powerful than the NES. I mean, it's still an 8-bit system, and it's still definitely, like, not as powerful as something like the Mega Drive or Super Nintendo. But it can do a lot more than the NES can with its default setup. I mean, granted, if you have a power base converter, you could hypothetically play it on a Mega Drive. Ooh, let's do another crane game. Can we get the thick Kirby this time? I like 'em real thick and juicy. That big old Kirby double. Little squeak in trouble. Begging for a piece of that bubble. Don't drop, don't drop. Wahoo! Okay, can we do it double thick? Double caked up on a Tuesday evening? Aw, yeah. 4 up, let's fucking go. I think that might be the first time I've gotten the double thick Kirby's in the crane game. Living on the edge, hotter than intensity. Fun fact, the song Danger Zone, I heard it for the first time in an episode of Super Mario Bros. Super Show I had on cassette tape. Power base converter is how I'm gonna play it. Hell yeah. See, I really want to get a power base converter, but I also just kind of want to get a Master System. My thing with the Master System is the D-pad kind of sucks. And the pause button being physically on the console, which I know is not an issue exclusive to the Master System, I still don't like it. Mentioned how I want to make a sequel only on Game Boy, being important to the overall lore. You are truly possessed by the spirit of Tetsuya Nomura. And I accidentally sucked my wheel back. Lumpy ground, lumpy ground. I believe I can fly. Blorp. Blorping and zooming. Okay, let's drop it up here. Okay, I'm playing on my Joy-Con 2, and the reason I keep accidentally flying is because, you know, the select button, aka minus, is right above the left stick, so I keep grazing the left stick slightly. Ooh, another UFO! Gotta suck that alien, Lamau. Okay. Come on, come on, come on! God fucking... I keep hitting up to try to move my UFO. I'm good at video games, you guys, I promise. Ooh, a wump. Yeah, UFOs can't climb ladders. That's like their one weakness. Come on. Wow. At least you guys actually get to see the UFO in action. Sorry for disappearing there. Oh, okay. Redbug, don't worry about it. My streams... Okay, I can get a little loud sometimes, maybe. And even though I do occasionally talk about 18+ topics, my streams are definitely designed to be chill, where you can just, like, sit there and, like... Because a lot of people, like, Seventh, will just put my streams on when he's editing his videos for his amazing YouTube channel. You should go check out if you're even mildly interested in fighting games. It's the youtube.com/the7thforce, I believe. But yeah, Seventh will oftentimes have my streams on when he's doing videos, like Gusty or Maddie will have my streams on while they're working on their art. Just in the background, because like I love to talk about video games. And like I said, a lot of times with games that, if there's on-screen text, I'll actually read it out loud. And I don't just do that because I like doing funny voices, but also why I do that is so people who just want to listen, they can still follow the story of like an RPG I'm playing or whatever. Exactly why I haven't gotten a Master System. There's a power-based converter adapter by Stone Age Gamer. That's an FM sound. Ooh, that's sick as hell. It does suck that a lot of North American Master System releases had the FM sound dummied out, even though it wouldn't have made it a problem to leave it in. The Master System is much more popular in Europe than the NES. Similarly, the Genesis was very unpopular in Japan, but the Saturn was a huge success. It's basically the complete opposite, yeah. No, the Saturn's amazing. Like, dude, if the Saturn could have gotten, like, 5% of its Japanese library over here in North America or Europe, I think it would have done way better. Granted, I don't think there was... Okay, with the release of Final Fantasy VII as a PlayStation exclusive, the PlayStation taking over was inevitable, but I don't think it would have been as much of a slaughter if Saturn had been able to get more of its Japanese library. Especially, like, if we'd gotten Grandia in a timely manner, I think that would have made a big difference. Because, like, Grandia was the major game that was Saturn's answer to Final Fantasy VII. Grandia is also amazing. You should totally check it out. It's available on every modern platform. And Grandia is a fantastic game. It does a lot of things better than some of the FFs in a certain way. But yeah, it came out around the same time as Final Fantasy VII, so it was like Grandia on Saturn versus FF7 on PlayStation was like the big RPG throwdown. But Grandia never released for Saturn outside Japan, so instead, Grandia, when it came out 2 years later, when it got a PlayStation port, which is when it got localized, it just became yet another feather in the PlayStation 1's amazing RPG cap. Yeah, Saturn had a solid second place in Japan. PC engine of its era. Yeah. Because, I mean, I was actually watching a Sunshine Feeler video, and he pointed out something really important, is that in Japan, the Genesis or Mega Drive only launched with, like, Space Harrier 2 and Super Thunderblade, which are not only both into-the-screen shooters, so they're two games of the same genre that are both bad. Like, you can maybe argue for Space Harrier 2, and I think Space Harrier in general is a good game. It's just Space Harrier 2 was rushed and has a lot of problems. And they did a sequel to a game based on scaling for a platform that doesn't have built-in sprite scaling. And Super Thunderblade's just fucking rancid. Though it did accidentally spawn a meme between me and my mom that I would say and completely forget about, and she would just randomly bring up when we'd play some games. Because, like, I got the Sega Genesis collection for PS2, which is, like, the first time I played a lot of Genesis games. I had a Genesis as a kid, but I was one of those kids who bought it mostly to just play Sonic and Rocket Knight Adventures, which fucking rules. So a lot of, like, Genesis stuff I didn't experience until I got the Genesis collection on PS2, including Super Thunderblade, which is one of the games included. And I remember I had already seen footage of regular Thunderblade, which is like a regular shmup, if I recall correctly. No, wait, I'm thinking of something else. Never mind. Because no, regular Thunderblade in the arcade was a forward-scrolling shooter, too. But no, I remember playing Super Thunderblade, and I played it, and after like 30 seconds, I ran into a building and instantly died. And I said, okay, I guess helicopters don't have life gauges. And Mom happened to be, like, sitting there reading a book behind me while I was playing this. Rocket Knight Adventures mentioned? Hell yeah. Go buy Rocket Knight Adventures. It's available in the Rocket Knight Resparked collection for Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, and PlayStation 5 and PC. But yeah, like, we were playing some game, and it had, like, a helicopter as a boss fight. And I remember Mom being like, oh, hey, shouldn't you have been able to beat it in one hit? And I'm like, why? And she went, well, helicopters don't have life gauges. And I'm like, ah. And she, like, grinned. I'm like, okay. Okay. Yeah, the M2 revision of Space Harrier 2 is actually really good. See, tomorrow I'm hoping to draw one of the Xeno girls from Genesis. Oh, the character designs from Xenoblade Genesis. Okay, my favorite thing, I kid you not, about the announcement is that they finally fucking dropped the word Chronicles from the Xenoblade games. Dear God, that was so obnoxious. Seen the video, I remember playing Super Thunderblade on Ultimate Genesis Collection. It's bad. It's like the only reason anyone has played it is because it's included with collections that have actual good games in them. Fascinating that Sonic wasn't a launch title for Genesis or Mega Drive, considering it's like the Sega Genesis character. Well, yeah, even in North America and Europe, where the Genesis Mega Drive came out in '89, Sonic didn't come out till 1991. So the first 2 years of the Mega Drive's life were just hedgehogless. I mean, in America, it might as well have come out in 1991 because Sonic was the game that sold Genesises, and it became a pack-in title. Thunderblade does have it has top-down and behind the helicopter. Okay, so I wasn't confusing it with another game. It just switches perspectives. Got it. Had a few high-profile killer apps. Well, I wouldn't call myself a pro, but thank you. But yeah, it just comes to having, okay. I have mentioned this before to, I don't remember who I was talking to. The first step to being cool is to realize you will never be cool. Because who's a character you think of being as someone who's cool? Like, actually cool, not like edgy cool. Dante from Devil May Cry, right? Well, the thing is, Dante's a goofy dumbass. And most people who are cool is because you need to go out there and realize you can be a goof, you can look like an idiot and a fool, and just roll with it. You know, like, being able to put yourself out there isn't being able to just effortlessly be cool or do something or whatever. It's the ability to not be held back and just being able to laugh off the stupid shit because everybody's a human and we're all going to say and do stupid shit. Wario. Okay, yeah, Wario's also pretty cool, but Wario is also completely okay with going out there and being a dumbass because he's got the self-confidence. Okay, apparently that's an empty pit. Good thing I got a 1-up. Ow. Man, me and the UFOs do not get along. Altered Beast was the game included. I remember reading an interview with Sega of America CEO having Sonic as a pack-in game, said something like, why are we selling the Genesis with a scary Satanist game? Oh, that's so funny. Why is everybody hurting me? I am a poor little innocent Kirb. It's Mysterious Guy, and he's got a sword, and he's got lackeys. I'm gonna eat him. Stop throwing dinner forks at me. What? Wait, these guys are actually kicking my ass. Fuck! A professional cola. Wario's proud of you. Of course, Wario would always be proud of you. You know, I am honestly shocked, Soda, that you've never done any fan art stuff of Captain Syrup. Always found name and address withheld knights surprisingly hard to deal with. Yeah, like, they are significantly harder than any of, like, the bosses or enemy waves. in most Kirby games. Okay, I tried doing it at the very bottom like a slingshot and it only got me to 6th place. You don't know who Captain Syrup is? I thought you were a Wario fan. Okay, wait a minute. Let me go look up her name and see what it was localized to in French. Or look up like a wiki page for her. I mean, you've played the Wario Lands. Her, yeah. A mascot for a juice. No, you goober. I'm talking about Wario's hot girl nemesis. Ooh, we got another museum. Let's see what we got. We got laser. Alrighty, let's do level 4. If I'm talking over you... okay. Haven't played any Wario Land because Nintendo's holding them hostage. Right? I still can't believe Wario Land 1 and 2 still are not on NSO. I would have streamed them by now if they were. Oh, so you're more familiar with WarioWare. I gotcha, I gotcha. Because the only WarioWare I've ever played is the first one. Okay, everybody grab your favorite non-carbonated caffeine-free beverage of choice. Oh, not. Okay, your sugar-free caffeine-free beverage of choice. It can be carbonated if you want. And take a nice big sippy. Kampai! Kirby can fire a laser beam. This beam will bounce off slopes. Try it in many places. Whoop. Let's get that tomato. What? It's slowdown time. Pushing that NES processor to its limit. We got rock, parasol, and fire. Ah! Why would you do that to me? It's time. Jesus. You can actually catch those music notes and shoot them back at him, by the way. We got Mike. Start playing Virtual Boy Wario Land in a bit since it's in a weird status. Virtual Boy Wario Land is really good, though. It plays a lot like Wario Land 1. Yeah, the mic is another screen nuke. And it actually, like, does the same as the mic ability. You remember there was a little item in Kirby's Dream Land that had the mic as well. You actually get 3 uses. See that little star on the HUD? So we're gonna drop it, because it's laser time. Because if you shoot a laser and it hits a slope, it'll actually, like, pop up at an angle. My name's Mike. Come on, let's do some karaoke. IS Mike, which is short for Mysicle. Hey, there's a soda. Hanging out with some Waddle Doos. Okay, I tapped it really gently when I first started. I got up to 4. I don't know how the physics on this thing work. Oh, that is such a cute little Game Boy emote. Ooh, we unlocked our first arena. 2 fighters go in, but only 1 will leave. You can get a tomato and an ability for a win. 2 souls bear their arms. 2 souls arm their bears. Get hosed, Mr. Freeze. I also like how they do the little animated crowd in the background. Fortnite back in the 90s. That was called Jazz Jackrabbit. TV static be like. You see, that's the thing. Those old TVs are just cheering you on, trying to find a channel. Moist. I actually mentioned this to Kubi when I was talking to her on Blue Sky the other day, but I think one of the kind of things with everything basically being video on demand in the current era is that, like, because I don't even have, like, an antenna or cable or anything like that anymore, but, like, I think having the shows on a schedule was really good for people who had, like, ADHD and stuff. Because as much of a pain in the ass as it could be, and as bad as you felt missing one of your shows, it's like, if you want to see the new Yu Yu Hakusho, he's right fucking now. Get in there. Go, go, go. Like, you didn't have to sit there and, like, force yourself to get motivated or go and do it or look it up on the website or whatever. You know, it's like you had to be on the schedule to see it, you know, be there when it was scheduled. And I feel like as much as it is much more convenient to have everything available on demand, I do feel like we kind of lost a little bit of something there. I mean, granted, like, ultimately, I think the best way would be just have both. Like, have something premiere at a specific time. But then, like, after a little bit, you'll be able to go watch it, like, on demand, so you don't miss it forever or anything. I have ADHD, too. Only recently got medicated for it. I haven't. I've been raw dogging it for over 30 years. Kirby can get a shield to freeze his enemies. He can then knock away the frozen blocks. Naka, like Yuji Naka, the convicted criminal. Ah! See, I managed to avoid the cannon and I get hit by its fucking umbrella. The bounce. Ah. Yeah, that bouncing off of an enemy only works if Kirby's, like, angled downward. You can always manufacture that experience yourself, but the thing is I have to motivate myself to actually do that. The soda's gone. Get going. Have a good one. Good night, Soda. I hope you can get a good night's relaxing rest. Ooh, wheelie time. It's the wheel deal. Ow. Yeah, if you're already zooming with wheel, you can actually just completely go over like small gaps like that. Oop, come on. Ow. Oh, neat, Green Hill. Near, 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 near. I know they have it in... Yeah, I'm pretty sure these got... Oop. Never mind. I was going to show off an ability. But I guess not. Okay. Yeah, these guys have an ability. Sleep. The ability to just take a nap. Ow. Yeah, you are completely vulnerable while napping like this. You can't move until Kirby's done with his nap. Honestly, I wish I could have this ability in real life. Also underrated, but I love Kirby having a little special sprite for scaling the hill when he's going up it. Finally, an ability for us. Also, much like Mario and Kirby's dashing, you can go over one tile wide gaps. God fucking damn it. Growlard. This is high jump. With that press of the B button, you can soar into the air, and you'll damage any enemies while you're flashing. There's a Sir Kibble. This has Fireball available. Hey, come back. Oh, rip. Oh well, we'll take sword. It's the flow of curbing. Hi, Jump. I'm Dad. Oop. Yep, they got a whole special section to show off how high jump works. With a free sippy drink. Okay, I pressed up there, but it just dropped my input. Like I said, I'm not going to be really using the rewind much. I generally don't when I replay retro stuff, but mostly when I just get bullshitted. Well. It's rewind time! Gonna hit up the museum real quick. Fire. Whenever I use jump as a dragoon, that'll be my catchphrase. Yeah, Warp Star Station. This star will take you to another stage. Hop on a star and with a number and let's go. Yep, So you can go back to the previous stages. Yeah, paint roller. Anything they paint will come to life. Most of them can be inhaled for an ability, too. Hey, that guy looks familiar. Yeah, this is the first way you can encounter Ball. It's not very useful in a boss fight. Also, I do love the color scheme of the puzzle pieces in the background. I like Kane and after years, him gaining white magic's the coolest thing to me. Butter building. Yeah. Build your butter. Pop. I always love when games will have like the game mechanics like reflect the storytelling and stuff. I always think that's so cool. Time to rock! And yes, if you've been wondering, that's where Kirby's down smash comes from. Is the stone ability. Ah! Alright, mic time! What's your favorite Kirby job class? For adventure, I don't know off the top of my head. Though overall, probably like... I'm a big fan of Yo-Yo and Superstar. I also really love Mirror and Superstar. Oop, come back. Scream into that cowboy hat. Let's see here. Yep, if I recalled correctly, there's a secret whatchamacallit here. Should have said Final Fantasy. Kane thought you were talking... Oh, I don't even know anything about... I watched the first episode of the Digital Circus thing, but it did not really vibe with me. I understand why people like it, though. Yes, we got our first of our secret buttons. We squish it, and it opens up something in the world map. Probably just lost, like, a million YouTube subscribers saying that I thought Digital Circus wasn't for me. Yo, the rainbow's Neapolitan colored. Nah, 2 million. Ah! Lost the entire 13-year-old demographic. I mean, good, because all my content's 18 plus labeled, so they really shouldn't be watching it. You know, I talk about, like, dicks and tax returns and stuff like that, so, Yeah, I don't really want wheel right now. Fire! Ah, breath that is quite possibly of fire. Wait, you can roast an M tomato? Oh no! Okay, this is really cool. It's even cooler with seeing this on original NES hardware, the way they did the building rotation. I love when old games have effects like this. It is so freaking cool how they pull it off. Whoop! And also, if you're wondering like how it's blue right here on the screen and stuff like that, a lot of stuff that's not glitching, because if you ever play Super Mario Bros. 3, for example, you'll notice it has like stuff like that on the screen as well. That's not noticeable playing on original hardware on a CRT TV, because generally a lot of that stuff is in the overscan area. It's not a glitch or graphical corruption. It's actually the game keeping some stuff loaded in to do a lot of the special graphical effects. Mario 3 keeps a lot of stuff loaded in because it actually had to do a lot of tricks to get diagonal, like full 360-degree scrolling on an NES. Good friend who I put it off for years. A good friend. A friend got a job designing merch for Glitch Productions. Maybe you actually watch it. Can't pass the Leisure Suit Larry quiz at the beginning, then you don't belong there. If you can't play Leisure Suit Larry, you also shouldn't be there. Sonic 2 very subtly across the bottom of a couple zones. Yep. Ah, there are rocks falling from the ceiling. And I'm hooked on a feeling. I went needle. Ow! Who knew trying to suck on a needle would hurt me? Yeah. Free stuff, free stuff, free stuff. Nope, it's just another fucking wheel. Ow. I swear what keeps getting me more than anything is accidentally flying when I don't mean to. God fucking damn it. Should put a warning or something. Get slurped. Ow. We're wheeling and dealing. Couple of frosty guys. Why do things keep falling on my head? Okay. Now, IIRC... God fucking damn it. Well, rip. Yeah, the one-ups have physics. Like Wheel and Yo-Yo Kirby. Really cool fun fact, in Kirby Superstar, if you're playing in co-op, and your partner's a wheelie, and when you go into Wheelie Rider, the partner can actually control just the wheel part, And player 1 can have Kirby launch stars, and the little star launching task is exclusive to co-op. Backdrop, which has changed to suplex in most of the later games. Hi, Jira. How are you doing on this lovely Tuesday evening? We're playing some Kirby's Adventure on the Nintendo Switch. Going back to level 1 to get myself an Imitato to hopefully not die. Oh no! Red bug! I didn't even get to see what you put. I'm so sorry, Breadbug. No, it's okay. I don't actually think you're spamming. It's just that I have Moobot in here. And she can be a little bit aggressive sometimes. Yeah, with Backdrop, you pull in an enemy, and the different directions on the D-pad will give you different moves. So, Gigi, did you watch the Nintendo Direct today? And if you did you see anything cool that tickles your fancy? Missed it? Well, I won't spoil anything, but there's a lot of stuff that got me super excited. When you watch it, you'll know exactly what it is. That's the droid I was looking for. But yeah, whenever you've beaten a stage, if you go back, you can just highlight exit stage and press start, and you can exit it. Hop back on here. I'm currently on 14. Well, sorry, Colby, you have to be 18 plus to be in my streams. I'm gonna have to ban you. Okay, guys, give me just a sec. Sorry, I'm about to show everybody my Nintendo Switch menu. And yes, I did buy the upgrade for Xenoblade like Frame 1. Oops. Wait, no, not that. Shit, it's almost dead. Just wanted to play my NES game with an NES controller, you guys. Ow. Okay, wait a sec. God fucking damn it. I did not mean to close out the game. But yeah, whenever you have an NES controller, it'll actually change the sound effects to real NES sound effects in the app. And it'll change the HUD over here to be gray. See, it even shows a little controller by my icon. Okay, wait, give me a sec. So, Ultra Gamer. See if my other one's more charged. Okay, there we go. No, the obnoxious thing is, like, using them with Switch 2, I am going to have to go get my Switch 1 and plug it in, and then, thankfully, this game has autosaves. Yes, an NES game had autosaves. Yep, same thing for the N64. I want to get the Genesis controller. I don't know if it does it with that either, for the Mega Drive thingy-mabobber. Ooh, actually, wait a minute. Now that I brought it up, I want to show you guys. Even though the controller's different for the Famicom, if you're using, like, the North American NES controller, it'll still give you the same effect when you play the Famicom version. And hey, what do you know? There's Kirby's Adventure in Japanese. Which I started a little of. Yeah, it actually, the title cards are still in English in the Japanese version of the game. Motoru. No, it's actually surprisingly common for a lot of Japanese games, especially back then, to have a lot of stuff be in English. One more billion games. Ah! Okay, but back to our actual playthrough we were doing. DK Challenge. A Donkey Kong Challenge event is live. Select from the Nintendo Switch option in the home menu to take it on. I will challenge the donk at some point. Not right now, though. Did your TV ever static up when Sonic revved a spin dash? One of my older TVs would do that, yeah. Well, I actually have my Genesis originals, and I have the Mega Collection on every platform that it's on. PlayStation 2, Xbox, and GameCube. OMG, my cuties are setting up a meetup in Final Fantasy XIV. Yeah, I guess I don't really think about it, Jira. I do have a lot of games. But I mean, like, for me, that's just how I have always gamed. I like having a big variety. I like... God fucking damn it. I like discovering new favorites, but I don't really play a lot of online stuff, conversely, because I feel like a lot of people now, especially people, like, born after, like, 2000 and stuff, tend to gravitate toward a tiny handful of games that have a lot of updates. We got the tower effect again. This is butter building, after all. jump. Also, note how the I in high jump is an exclamation point. I didn't know you could get up here. They should have put Donkey Konga on GameCube NSO and make a challenge that's hitting every note perfectly and all the small things. I do not think they... Okay. There have been a lot of surprises with game re-releases lately. I mean, hell, we're getting a collection of the classic Barbie games from, like, GBA and NES and everything. So, like, I don't ever count anything out, but I do feel like Donkey Konga is one of the least likely games to ever get an official re-release, just because the game's a fucking licensing nightmare, because the Japanese, North American, and European versions of the games all have different music tracks. And they're almost all, like, licensed music, aside from, like, some Nintendo stuff. Yeah, there are actually two ice abilities. There's the freeze one, which is, like, the close-range AoE, and then there's a breath one for, like, just regular ice. Look, Kirby's got a little popsicle. I can't believe we're getting a Toy Story collection. That's crazy to me. I mean, it's awesome. Especially because I hear Toy Story 2 on PS1's, like, actually a really good platformer. Though that game has been available digitally on PlayStation 3 and Vita for a while now, as part of the PS1 Classics. Oh no. I could use a popsicle. I haven't had one in a while, actually. Toy Story 2 and Toy Story 3 are really great games. Yeah, I know that Toy Story 3 was a big deal when it came out, because it was just considered one of the overall best kids games. Just because, like, it had so much content. Because that was, like, basically a full movie game and the toy box mode. Because IIRC, the Toy Story 3 games, what inspired Disney Infinity, isn't it? These rooms keep changing colors. Now it's blue. Now it's pink. But it's like the same layout. Thinking about Push Pops. Now there's a name I haven't heard in a long time. Only other games my mom liked were Wii Sports, Zack and Wiki, and Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine. Soft spot for Konga. Okay, sorry, I missed that one. One of the few video games Mom actually liked. She was one of the few we played together. Most video games would stress her out. My mom loved video games. I was very lucky to have her as a mom. Like, she wasn't, like, super crazy, like... She wasn't anywhere near as neurodivergent about it as I am. But, you know, she had a lot of game series. She loved Metal Gear. She loved Zelda. Collection includes all the DLC and the previously PlayStation 3 exclusive content. Yeah, it is amazing to have all that stuff preserved. Yeah, it was developed by the same team that did Infinity. I thought so. You know, I wonder about something. Okay, yeah, you can even edit the controls if you're playing with the original style controller, which is awesome. So if an old game has a bizarre control scheme, you can actually fix it. Which, like, that's not super likely on an NES game, but I know there are some NES games where, like, it'll have jump mapped to B or something. Grateful for my mom. She share my interest. Glad your mom shared interest, though. Yeah, I think when it moved to the Switch 2, they added the ability... Even on the Switch 1, they even added the ability to remap controls. I think the only one you can't do it in right now is Sega Genesis. Though most Genesis games have remappable controls by default. Kind of doubt they'll release Diddy Kong Racing either, not because Microsoft wouldn't. Simply doubt Nintendo wants to people to remember Conker. I don't know. I feel like if they were okay with putting GoldenEye on there, then they'd probably be okay with Diddy Kong Racing. Keep in mind, Nintendo overall isn't as prudish as their North American reputation, because, like, I feel like Nintendo's censorship-heavy thing in, okay. Nintendo had very heavy-handed censorship in North America, especially prior to the formation of the ESRB, which is, you know, the game's rating system. But I feel like something that gets lost in the I feel like something that gets lost in the shuffle of all of that is losing the historical context, because, like, you have to realize that part of what caused the video game crash, it wasn't E.T. or a bad port of Pac-Man. It was many straws being piled on a camel's back that eventually broke in. Because there were some Atari games, because you could just put anything on an Atari and legally sell it if you could program for it. A lot of Atari 2600 games just didn't fucking work, and a lot of them were porn. And some of them were porn with no indication they were porn, so people would buy a fucking game thinking they could give it to their kid or something, and, you know, it's somebody jacking off into a person's mouth on an Atari 2600. So yeah, I don't agree with a lot of Nintendo's censorship that they did for the NES and Super Nintendo era. Because keep in mind, they dropped all that censorship shit as soon as the ESRB was established. So they didn't censor things because they wanted censorship. They did it because they were trying to rebuild a broken market that had no trust in video games as a medium. You have to remember how prudish, also, in general, more adults were in 1989, 1990 than they would be today. Yeah, you can definitely see the AVGN has definitely covered some. But yeah, like, I feel bad for any kid that was traumatized because they just randomly received, like, Custer's Revenge or some shit as in a bundle of Atari games they got from somebody. My S-word. Because you got to keep in mind, when Conker's Bad Fur Day came out, not only did Nintendo officially publish it and stuff, well, Rare published it, I think, in Europe. I'm trying to remember. But I know that they marketed it, but they marketed it in magazines like Maxim and shit. You also have to remember, in 2001, it was actually considered subversive to have a cute, fluffy animal saying swear words and shooting a gun. Oh, we got one of the timing minigames. When an enemy draws, press the A button. If you press it too soon, you can get a penalty. Shit, that was way too slow. That actually is counting the number of frames that you respond to it with, by the way. That fuck! Yeah, Custer's Revenge is actually horrifying. No, they didn't hate it. They were just trying to keep it out of Nintendo Power and stuff because that was a magazine focused on a younger audience. And yeah, Custer's Revenge is, it's not just like, oh, haha, funny porn. No, that game's actually terrible on, like, many levels. Invincibility! We're zooming, we're fast. Ooh, I'm with the cold. Especially because it's actually starting to be like summer weather around where I live, and I'm not having it. Ah, fuck. So I would very much love to have the freeze power IRL right now. Of course, I picked the worst power to fight a close range enemy. Get blocked. Ow! Fucking... Going fast makes me feel alive. God, why would you jump over my star? I was just trying to hit you with just a little ouchie. Oh my god, Brad. Leave Brad alone. I'm gonna have a stern talking to with Moobot. Shit, Brain, could you please untime out Brad? I can't seem to bring up the chat people list right now. Redbug, I am so freaking sorry. I guess try to send your messages in, like, smaller blocks, if you can. Like I said, I'll try to go look at my Moobot settings. Fake game trivia. If you're not familiar, my fake game trivia is, I give you a piece of game trivia, but instead of it being real, it's complete bullshit. OMG, trivia time, but except this time it's blatantly untrue. Not good with brevity, don't feel bad. That's pretty normal around here. And also, thank you so much for the follow, Breadbug. I really appreciate it. Okay, today's fake game trivia is actually going to be the origin of Midna's name from The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. Because you see, when they originally came up with the idea for Midna, the idea wasn't very good. So they just called them Mid. But then they made a better idea for her, which is the one we got in the game because she's awesome and wonderful. So they changed it to Midna. In Sonic Forces, you can put a secret code to unlock Luigi. No, I said the ones that aren't true, Maddie. Okay, spicy hot take. Give me a sec, I'm cooking the spicy hot take in my brain right now. You're the famous character Rain the Cutie? That is the cutie that is Rain. Okay, my spicy hot take for today is I feel like a lot of games are not first person for a decent gameplay reason. I feel like a lot of games that were released in first person, especially around the PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, and early PS4 era, were just put in first person because the people developing it did not want to try to bother with how to coordinate the camera. I think camera control is one of the biggest bugbears in gaming in general. And I feel like people look at fixed cameras as a hardware limitation, when in a lot of games they're a very smart and deliberate gameplay choice. And I feel like, again, like, people need to stop looking down on fixed cameras, because there are a lot of games where, like, having a fixed camera completely takes out a lot of ambiguity and guesswork. It also makes navigation a lot easier, especially if you're being told to, like, go north or whatever. But in general, like, I don't think there are a lot of games I think would be served a lot better to be in third person that are just in first person because the people making it didn't want to try to deal with having the camera and fighting with that. In addition, like, this is a tiny little side tangent of it, but I'm really fucking annoyed at how many games have you to spend real money on pricey skins that are completely in first person, so you never actually get to see the skin for the character you paid real money for. Maddie, please do not jump into a giant eel's mouth. We've been over this. You beat classic mode as Snake upside down on a Tuesday night and throw your Switch into the ocean. 9 months later, your turn to unlock SpongeBob. The cutest of rains. Yeah, it was actually, like, I got a little bit jump scared because the name of the main character in the new Final Fantasy that's coming out is called Rain. I'm like, I know her! The topic of Rocket Knight Adventures, which was mentioned a while back, I've actually tried to play it, didn't click with me. Yo! Well, don't worry. I will, I'll eventually stream it, and I will yap about it so much that you'll like it or else. League of Legends may be League of Legends, but at least it's top-down unless you see the skin you paid for. Yep, I love me a good paid-for skin. Rain, did you watch the Nintendo Direct? Bonkers just fucking bonked my ass. Ow! Oh, okay, yeah, the, shit. Final Fantasy Resonance? The main character is named Rain. To try it again soon? Well, the thing with Rocket Knight Adventures, okay. First of all, you can go to the menu and customize what's mapped to the A, B, and C buttons. Secondly, if you're playing the North American version of Rocket Knight Adventures, do not choose normal mode. In the Japanese and European versions of Rocket Knight Adventures, the difficulties are called easy, normal, and hard. But in North America, they renamed normal to easy, and then they renamed hard to normal. Because you actually have to beat the game to unlock the insane difficulties in Europe and Japan, but they're available by default. All the difficulties are actually harder than what they say they are in the North American version. Start the game on easy, because you're not actually playing easy mode. Easy is the normal difficulty if you're playing the North American version. Yes, you are obligated to play Resonance. But moreover, also with Rocket Knight Adventures, you have to resist the Mega Man player urge to constantly be holding down the attack button to charge the rocket pack, because it's more prudent to charge it when you'll need to use a rocket burst, because you kind of need to spam the sword attack a lot of times, because Rocket Knight Adventures has a lot of, like, shmup, like, Gradius DNA. So a lot of times jumping forward and shooting, because like it doesn't seem like it, but Rocket Knight Adventures is about as much of a run and gun as it is a platformer. Okay, they messed with the difficulty names because a lot, Konami especially, had like a vile hatred for the American video game rental market, because a lot of their games from back then, like Castlevania 3, for example, on the NES, were actually just harder for the North American localization, so you couldn't beat them on a single rental. Okay, I go bed now. I have work in the morning. Good night, kitties. Good night, Rain. Have a wonderful, sleepy, eepy nighttime sleeps. Hammer time. Like the sword, the hammer can do a little swingy swing when you jump. Oh yeah, Breadbug, I think I might have called you he at least once. I apologize. I do not know what you prefer to go by, but let me know. Oh, shit. I tried to grab the laser, but my dropped hammer ended up... Fuck. Because this hallway is, like, designed perfectly for the laser. Though with these orange blocks, you can actually slide kick through them, too, if you don't have a power. See, just like Echo, which I do quite like. Ocean bias. I have a weird history with Echo the Dolphin. The first one I actually played was Echo Jr., which is actually a very kind of chill game because you can just like swim around and go to any level and do anything. It's made for very young kids. So I was a little bit jump scared when I got the Sega Genesis collection, and when I played the other Echo the Dolphin games, they were really freaking hard and kind of terrifying. And I mean, like, actually, the Echo the Dolphin games have, like, a lot of horror elements, and, like, the enemies are, like, cosmic entities and shit like that. Hey! Why would you do that? Haha! Actually go by she. Anyways, I didn't actually register using the pronouns. Like I said, I don't even know if I did it once. I think I've mostly been theying. But, okay, I will try to remember that, Breadbug. Hard to tell with that kind of thing, especially when you're reading text, silly non-gendered username. Yeah, because despite how deep my voice can go, I am also girl. And my name, like, Nikea is actually my real name, and it is very neutral, so... Oh, this area, that's right. I can drop my S word for a minute. The darkness of the night is nighttime and darkness. I like the music track in here, though. Grab one of these guys. I love the little icon there, by the way. This is the light ability. It lights up a dark room, that's all. Fellow Goyle. There's also Rain, who is also girl. But yeah, it's interesting because, like, pretty much all of the Kirby's abilities from, like, Superstar onward have, you know, like full move sets and everything. But it's interesting that some of the abilities in Kirby's Adventure were more like HMs in Pokemon, where they had like a single use for something and didn't necessarily have an offensive use. Slurp. Ah! Really random, but I hope one day a Tales or Final Fantasy character is named Cole. I actually am surprised that hasn't been a thing yet. I feel like I've played at least one RPG that had a Colton in it. I think mostly just Throw and UFO have more than one move. Well, Sword and Hammer kind of have two, because if you, like, jump, you can have the spinning attack. Hello Kitty Partyland. That looks super cute, actually. I'm trying to remember exactly the order everything was shown in, because I think Partyland might have got lost when my brain was filled with static from a certain game series reveal. You see when Kirby's copy abilities weren't defined? Yeah, because like Adventure's the first one. Alright, time to suck some eggs. Alright, chat, everybody open your mouth. Fuck! Almost had him. Yeah, we unlocked the Warp Star room for World 3, or the Warp Star Station, excuse me. Let's fight the boss. Though I think high jump's probably not going to be the move. Oh, maybe it is. We got Mr. Shine and Mr. Bright. I am on fire. Maybe tackling the sun wasn't my best plan. Who knows? Ow. Ow. Oh, coming in here without a power is probably not my finest hour. There's Locke Cole. He's affiliated with Phoenix. Like the legend of the Phoenix. Which one do they have at the museum here? I think it was Laser. Oh, it's high jump. Well. Okay, I guess I'm raw dogging it. I do like that it's like dusk when they're both on the ground, but when one of them takes up, they're like it's actually a blue sky now that the sun's up. Ow. Sun's up, guns up. The moon. Locking in, chat. Also, I kind of wish they would release the 3D Classics version of this again, because there was a 3D... Ow! Okay, locking in, locking in. I'll yap about this in a minute. Shit. Oop, catching up on chat, give me a sec. Using Emulation Station, I made a Mario Party collection, Wario Land collection, Rayman collection, and a Nickelodeon game collection. I tried to make the other ones feel prestigious as their beloved influential works. The Nickelodeon games, as much as I like them, aren't. Collection I made look like a bargain bin DVD pack. That's cute. Notice the dusk on the ground of their daily. Yeah, it's such a wonderful detail. But okay, what I was talking about the 3D Classics versions is like it wasn't a whole lot of them, but there was Kirby's Adventure, Kid Icarus, Twin Bee, and I think one other game, but it's not coming to me right now. But the 3D Classics, just like Seventh says in chat, there is the absolute best way to play it, because it's the NES version. Xevious, thank you. But it's the NES version, but with none of the slowdown. So it is legitimately the best way to play Kirby's Adventure, and it is really irritating that it is only available on a 3DS. And it was a digital only game on 3DS on the eShop, so like you can't even buy it now. If you didn't download it for 3DS, or if you don't use other means, then like you just can't play it. I guess I'll be back in just a sec. I am going to make a quick trip to the bathroom and everything. You guys go ahead and everybody get up and stretch, hydrate real quick. And I'll be back in just a minute. Hi, kitties. I have returned. Ad I got was a meat product that I swear is voiced by the same guy who voices Sonic in the movies. Okay. Hi. Oh yeah, also for context, I realize that most of you probably might not be familiar, like any of my newer followers or whatever, anybody from the raid. Kubi is like one of my longtime friends for like ever and ever. And like I've known her and Maddie for like probably almost, gosh, it's been over 12 years at this point. Also Jira, who has been around forever, almost as long. And like, yeah, we've like all been on the internet together for a very long time. Maddie is like, okay, you know how like every streamer or VTuber or whatever has like their one mod who fixes everything that's always falling apart? That's Maddie. Literally, if there's any kind of issue, I just press the Maddie button. They are my bestest bestie. Is there actually a power that I can get here that'll be useful against Shine and Bright? You know, now that I think about it, I feel like there aren't that many generically good projectiles in the first game. What's in the museum here? I think it's Sword. Like, I can fix any potential issue you may have with being a little thirsty. I did actually went ahead and go grab a little bit more, put a little more water and stuff in my tumbler, but yes, everybody grab your favorite sugar-free, caffeine-free beverage of choice. I got my ice water right here. Take a nice big sippy. That is some good mizu. Why is it all beam? Oops, all beam. I guess we're going in with beam. Geez, learning timing and boss patterns, which is this a Mega Man game? I didn't know Kirby was inspired by Dark Souls. God damn it. Should probably go soon, but I have a question. WRT, the Sonic collection I'm putting together. I don't know what WRT means. I'm so sorry. Well, with regards to the Sonic collection, yeah, go ahead with your. I'm sorry, like a lot of people think I'm a lot younger than I am, both in real life and online, but I'm like over 35, so sometimes some stuff flies over my head. Hag moment, I guess. But yeah, go ahead with your Sonic collection. Ask me anything you want to. I am very happy to yap about video games in any regard. Should I include Mania and Triple Trouble 16-bit since they're hypothetical Saturn Genesis games? Okay. I don't think that's revisionist history, because one thing you have to remember when you're putting together something like this, you are not putting this on the Internet Archive. This is not going to be a part of the Gaming Historian's YouTube channel or anything. You are just making what you want for you. So you do whatever you think is fun and cool. I mean, I kind of, with something like that, I just do it based on vibes. Like, for example, if it was me putting together, like, my Sonic collection or whatever, yeah, I'd throw Mania in there and probably Triple Trouble 16-bit also, because if I'm feeling like playing a classic Sonic, then I feel like they fit in just perfectly. So, like, I don't think there's any harm in it, because you're just doing it for you. Yeah, I would put it more based on, like, the vibes and what they give you. Like, if I was doing a classic Kirby collection, I would probably have, like, Adventure and Superstar, of course, and, like, the GBA games, but I would probably also go ahead and put, like, you know, one of the 3DS games or something, because it gives you, like, a similar experience if you're in the mood for that. Because, like, the thing is with the 8-bit versions of Triple Trouble and the 8-bit Sonics in general, I feel like they'd have a different execution and vibe than the Genesis games. I'm not saying it's worse or anything, it's just different. But Triple Trouble 16-bit really does feel like a real Genesis game, and it's so well done. I broke the sun. I'm sure nothing bad will come out of that. God damn it. I had like 2 hits left on that thing, too. Emulating Kirby's Dream. That's not lazy, that's smart. Besides, Kirby's Dream Collection has lots of cool exclusive content. It has like special bonus missions based on the engine for Return to Dreamland. Also, if you suck up 2 stars at a time and spit them out, it'll create a way more powerful projectile. My big beef with both Kirby's Dream Collection and some stuff like the Game Boy NSO is that a lot of Kirby games had really cool palettes and borders for the Game Boy, the Super Game Boy for Super NES. And a lot of those are just completely never used, and they just put it on there in fucking black and white. Yeah, whichever one you defeat first, it'll actually change like the sky background for the rest of the battle here. Ow. Oh, the sun and moon collided and exploded. I'm sure nothing bad will happen from that. In the 8-bit too, they're the Mega Collection of Plus games, but they do feel different. Well, I mean, like, with, we're going on to Grape Garden. Oh, that's way too real. But with the 8-bit Sonics, they're much more platformery, I think. Because obviously the Master System and Game Gear had limitations of what they could do. Because, you know, a lot of the point of Sonic 1 was to show off everything you could do with the new 16-bit hardware. Give me a sec. Controller changing stream. I actually did find a hack of Dream Collection to give the Game Boy games the default palette on Game Boy Color. Yeah, like, it irritates me in general how much Nintendo does not seem to want to acknowledge the Super Game Boy ever. I mean, I don't think it's that hard to emulate because a lot of real Game Boy emulators have it. Wait, shit! There's a bunch of buttheads. It's weird why they do certain things that they do. I mean, they're definitely much more flexible and stuff than they used to be with a lot of stuff, which I do greatly appreciate. But it's like, the most obnoxious thing in recent memory to me is how Virtual Boy's handled, where it will not let you play the Virtual Boy unless you play it in handheld mode. And it'll only let you play it with, like, the stereoscopic 3D presentation. You can't just try to play the games in 2D. Like I said, they're not as bad about it as they used to be, but I feel like a lot of Nintendo design issues used to come from, like, not just stubbornness, but, like, this whole thing of, like, they didn't even consider the idea that someone might play something in a way different than how they intended. Like I said, I don't think it comes from animosity. It's like, just the idea doesn't even cross their minds. I love this background, by the way. An UFO. Well, now I got it. Ow, fuck. Well, rip the UFO. I still love this background, though. Of course, I'm very biased. Pinks and purples are, like, my favorite colors. Yes, I'm one of those girly girls. A bouncing Blorbo. Meow. Meow. Aurora Borealis. Finch is one of my favorite looking NES games. Yeah, it's a wonderful game. It is so pretty. It's funny to me because, like, I am very glad that I got to play this game growing up and everything, but it was probably one of the worst first NES games to have because almost every NES game for a long time just looked so underwhelming to me afterward, like, graphically. Granted, a lot of late life NES games just look absolutely fantastic. It is a damn shame that Little Samson is so hard for people to just officially be able to play, because damn, that game is so freaking cool looking. This time of day, this part of the country localized entirely in Kirby's Adventure for the NES. Secret door! Fuck! Secret door! It really did set impossible standards. Because, you know, obviously as a kid, I didn't understand that, you know, this had like a bazillion mapper chips and was doing a bunch of other really cool things that early NES games just weren't designed to do. Because, like, there's even kind of a thing with Super Mario Brothers kind of being the starting point for a lot of people in North America and Europe when it comes to the NES, because, like, yeah, that's one of the doors to get the secret switch right there. That's part of how you get 100%. But it's like Super Mario Brothers was kind of the end of the original Famicom before the Famicom Disk System came out, because Super Mario Brothers was designed to be the ultimate Famicom game with, like, no mapper chips or anything. Because, yeah, Super Mario Brothers original is built on a stock Famicom cart. So it was built on just the base hardware that was more or less just designed to play Donkey Kong really well. Because legitimately the point of the original Famicom when it was in development was to be able to make a home system that could play Donkey Kong close enough to the arcade version. Which, when you pit it against stuff like the Atari and ColecoVision at the time, yeah, I mean, it's pretty much in faithful Donkey Kong. Well, it was designed with the idea of being the last proper Famicom game, but that never really panned out. The disc system did not end up replacing the NES, though it was the origin of games like Legend of Zelda, Kid Icarus, Metroid, Castlevania was originally a disc system game. Which is interesting because the original Castlevania actually had save files, which is something completely removed from the NES version. But most series, even in Japan, just kept going on Famicom cartridges, adding mapper chips. Like Contra never had a disc system release. The Dragon Quest games were always only just regular Famicom cartridges. And interestingly, later in the Famicom's life, they released the top loader NES actually has a Japanese equivalent called the AV Famicom. And with the thing with the AV Famicom is they released cartridge versions of a bunch of disc system games like Metroid and Legend of Zelda. That's also when they originally finally released the North American Super Mario Bros. 2, aka Super Mario USA, in Japan as well, which hilariously enough it didn't review very well because readers were confused why they just, or not readers, but reviewers at the time in Japan were confused why they just took Doki Doki Panic and put Mario characters in it and sold it as a new game. So yeah, eventually the American version of Legend of Zelda made it back to Japan in a cartridge really late in the NES's lifespan. You can stretch. Yep, everybody get up. Stretch your teeth. Eat your legs. Sorry, it just spills out when I start talking. I apologize. Rolling around at the speed of sound. I've got sound in my sound, got a sound on my rainbow. Blorp. You apologize, I like the J. Well, I'm glad. If you're gonna hang around my chat, you probably need to like video game trivia. Because I remember there's this one Twitch channel I went to, and I was gonna I just kind of hang out. They played some really cool niche and retro stuff, and I clicked on the thing with the chat rules, and one of the rules like no NSFW, no horny, and I'm like, okay, that's a little difficult for me, but I can rein in the whore when I have to. And the second rule was if I want video game trivia, I'll ask for it, and I'm like, I don't think I'm gonna make it, you guys. So I only play board games like Trivial Pursuit. I like board game trivia. I mean, it's interesting, like, having historical knowledge about something that isn't, like, standard history is just considered trivia. Like, literally trivializing knowledge of the history of arts. And again, trivializing the arts is kind of a tradition. I had Nick seen it as a kid. I don't know. I feel like board game video games don't get enough respect. Squishy. Imitato. You know, this room has a vibe. I would totally, like... Would this be not a great room to just, like, stand in and let the light from those windows just, like, kind of get cast on you? Like, there's no other light in the room. You're just, like... vibing. Okay. Yeah, the Kirby's Avalanche voices, I grew up with that game, and they are massive vocal stems for me. Like, I will just randomly be like, Squishy! Bronto Bert! Lo 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 and la la la. It's like, the weird thing with Kirby's Avalanche is it's like the one officially released game where Kirby speaks with like full sentences, and he is like a snarky little butthead. Granted, I don't really think of the Kirby's Avalanche as being, like, canon to the official Kirby series or anything. Ooh, I've got an apple. Spikes? Why would you do that? It's crazy. Ow! Ooh, now I can have my own spikes. Low-key, I feel like this game keeps dropping my inputs. I'm not trying to make excuses. It was even doing that with the NES controller. But I guess this is what you get for pushing a console to its bleeding limits. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for that justified crash out. And thems. You gotta be kidding me. Touched me with his freaking toesies. I had to hold back my attitude today. Saw a short saying Final Fantasy XII is bad because it can be bad for basically setting up your gambit well. I don't know if you're talking about the same person that I'm thinking of, but I got a lot of his shorts and recommended lately, and while he is very charismatic and I respect that he can have his own opinions, he has like the most dogwater ass boomer Final Fantasy opinions. It's like he hates everything about the remakes and 12, like basically everything after 10. He's talking about how, like, oh, you know, it betrayed the Final Fantasy and blah, 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 and, like, this isn't what the characters are like, and I'm like, okay, homie. But he wasn't, like, being complainy about it. He's being, like, charismatic and bright about it, but he's still basically just complaining. Sparking! Ow. Allegiances to Mean Bean. Yep. Puyo Puyo has an interesting history. Because like I said, as a kid in the 90s, I definitely did find it a little odd that, you know, there was a Kirby game on Super Nintendo and a Sonic game on the Genesis that were both the exact same gameplay. And the fact that, like... But then again, I picked up on the title screen, it had them both developed by Compile. So I'm like, oh, you know, like at the time I'm thinking, I guess Nintendo and Sega both wanted the same company to develop a puzzle game for them. Also, my previous stream, Breadbug, was actually I did like a little carousel of Sega Genesis games, basically, that are on NSO. And I did play Mean Bean Machine, and hey, if you want to boot it back up, the password red refugee yellow can send you straight to the Dr. Robotnik battle on the hardest difficulty setting. It's the same guy, because I'm sure we came around in the same circles. Probably. Especially back then, with such fierce competitors. Well, I mean, like I said, it makes sense when you know that in Japan, these are just reskins of the Super NES and Genesis versions of the original Puyo Puyo. Fun fact, the best-selling Genesis/Mega Drive game in Japan ever is the first Puyo Puyo. Funner fact. I'm sorry, I'm interrupting you again, Kirby. I still love you. You can buy the original Puyo Puyo arcade game on the Switch. It's like $7 or $8, I think. But it's gone on sale for as low as like $3 before. It's the original Puyo Puyo arcade game, and this has something incredibly cool. There was a limited arcade test run of Puyo Puyo 1 for North America. It didn't really go over well in its original test run, so it never got a broad national release in the United States. And a lot of people swore they played it, and there were ROMs out there. Everyone assumed the ROM was a bootleg because it changed all the character names, but no, that was an official English release of Puyo Puyo 1 in arcades, and that is available in this Sega Ages release on Switch. So they officially released what most people consider to be a lost arcade ROM. To the point where, like I said, people online have been questioning its legitimacy for years and thought it was a bootleg, but it wasn't. I get back to Kirby. Video mentioning both it and Genesis best-selling Genesis game in Japan. The Switch version having super obscure English version, yeah. But I mean, it's so amazing. It is worth it. Because, like, I love when they bring back old games. Of course, I love when they bring back old games in general, but them getting new localizations or having limited content getting preserved and made easily available is just so cool. Ooh, let's do another shootout. Wicked Wild Wild West, Jim West, Desperado, Rough Rider, yeah, you don't want Nato, Six Gun and S Brother on an S Buffalo Soldier, look, it's like I told ya. Any damsel that's in distress will be out of distress when she meet Jim West. Roughnecks get gut checked and holding your sides. Swallow your pride. Don't, God, fuck! I swallowed too hard, you guys. Don't let your lip react, you don't want to see my hand where my hip be at. With Artemis from the start of this running the game, James West tamed the West, so remember the name. Ah, fucking shit! I wasn't paying attention. Starman with a propeller hat. It's red refugee yellow. I will remember that eternally, and I mentioned this in my previous stream, but I had a VHS cassette tape that I got in a special mail offer that was like hints and tips for all the favorite Sega Genesis games. And I watched that thing to death. I still have it in my storage somewhere. Because I have almost all my VHSs I had when I was a kid. And I will always remember vividly that red refugee yellow is the password to go straight to Robotnik on the hardest difficulty, because that was one of the tips in the video. Also, I forget that everybody knows who Starman is because he got really popular in Kirby's Air Rider. Walking on the border of the freaking thingy. I feel a little bad having to do this in a Kirby game, but I think I'm going to need to go farm some one-ups. Can't sleep. I'm sorry, Soda. But at least that means I get to hang out with you some more. Hi. Starman because Smash Bros. That too. Okay, let's grab some Kirb. Let's try to get the little one first to guarantee we can at least get one up. I love Starman, the power-up in Mario. Let's see if we can get one thick Kirb. One thick Kirb and I do what? A yoinky. Damn it! I knew who Starman was before Air because Kirby's been a long-standing autistic interest to contain the elite ball knowledge. The power of the tism. You're gonna fit in so well here. A cannon! Get explored. Hey, it went up. I could use one of those. But yeah, with these and this mechanic returns in later games, you can light the fuse, and if you get in the cannon before the fuse goes out, you can get blasted off. Can't stop thinking about Xenoblade. Tism is of the Tales series. I never would have guessed that, Cole Tales. We're in the blow zone layer. Wait, should I actually want cutter? Yo. God, shit, my cutter, come back. Thank you. You know, I have noticed that with the powers in Kirby's Adventure here, I feel like all the ones that are projectiles have a little bit of a wind-up. Like, I feel like with the abilities, they kind of didn't want you having just an easy-to-use projectile in Kirby's Adventure. Because, like, the breath ones all have a range. And like I said, Cutter is the only one that's like a real projectile, but it doesn't even cover the whole screen. And Laser's kind of got to wind up, too, because Kirby's got to do the little thing where he aims his arm. Of course, I wonder if they did that because, like, in the initial game design, they were worried about maybe if projectile powers were too quick and easy to use, it would kind of overwrite the need to ever use normal Kirby. The standard suckin' spittin'. I'm gonna stand here and let myself get blown across the floor. Honestly, the propellers, like, right above where I'm standing are just the speed I was moving at watching the Xenoblade trailers today. God damn it. Could have been Ninetales. Ninetales of Symphonia. My only major blind spot is Squeak Squad. Just never played it for some reason. I've been obsessed with Kibby since I was little. Game Mouse Attack in Europe. It's funny because I actually call my community the Squeak Squad. Except for Soda, I call him the Mouse Attack. No, I'm just kidding. Of all of the Nintendo name changes for video games, the ones that baffle me the most are them just slapping the word bros in every Mario and Luigi title without even changing the pun or anything. Like Mario and Luigi Paper Jam's European version is just called Mario and Luigi Paper Jam Bros. I unfortunately don't have any emotes or an on-screen model yet, but as you can see from like my stream icon and everything, I'm going to be a mouse VTuber. Push A. Why don't you push A? You frickin' frick. Oh, okay. I still gotta go find a secret. Ooh. Something's coming over me. Okay. I'm back to World 1 to eat a tomato. Mouse. Favorite regional name change to the Yoshi game, which is called Yoshi and the Compendium of Whimsical Creatures. That should have been the official name for, like, every region. That's perfect. Yoshi and the Mysterious Book just sounds like an Atelier game. Atelier Yoshi, Alchemist of the Mysterious Tongue. Oh yeah, the freaking Yoshi topsy-turvy being Yoshi's Universal Gravitation still gets me to this day. Like, what the hell is that name? Okay, yeah, there's about just Yoshi. Because, okay, here's the thing. The puzzle game that's called Mario and Yoshi in European regions is just called Yoshi. And in Japan, it's called Yoshi's Egg. So I will never know what they were doing with the North American market, just calling the game Yoshi. Because if you think about a game that would just be called just Yoshi, you'd think that'd be like Yoshi's Island, one that plays like a standard Yoshi game. But no, it's a freaking puzzle game. Also, that game's developed by Game Freak, by the way. I've mentioned this before on stream, but that game was, that game was partially responsible for funding Pokemon. Yoshi Returns HD. Yoshi transitioned to the North American version. Oh yeah, they're not an egg anymore. That's right. I mean, Yoshi goes by he, him pronouns, but can also lay eggs, so I guess he could be transmask. I will make that my new headcanon. That makes him and Birdo the transmask cross-trans-fem relationship. We love to see it. The name weird, but it's so wordy and clinical for a series that's so cutesy and cuddly. You should only. Oh, you mean Super Mario World 2? Hello, Diablo Prime, playing your Chronicle. What are you doing with my Chronicle? Give that back. Yoshi, gaming's most famous T for T couple. My custom compilations I've been making from scratch using the Game Boy Color colorization hacks I found. There have been a lot of really fun colorization hacks for a lot of Game Boy Classic games lately. Sadly, couldn't get the ones for Dream Collection. Settle for the GBC palettes. That's fair. Okay, back to World 3, so I can go back to World 4. Okay. Go! Oh yeah, I completely forgot to ask, even though I've been streaming for almost 3 hours, but like, my audio and everything's been okay, right guys? I had a friend who really liked that game. We have some Mario characters. Maybe it's either Luigi, Shy Guy, or the Koopa Troopa variations. It's hard for me to decide because I really like a lot of the Mario characters. Like, I have this weird thing, and this is definitely the tism, but I have a specific obsession with Fire Flower Mario. Like, I like regular Mario a lot too, don't get me wrong, but like, specifically, like, if there's merch of Mario with the Fire Flower outfit, that's the one I want. To the point where, like, there are these, like, kids blocks, whatever, plastic figures of Mario characters, and the advertising... I mean, it's got like Mario, Luigi, Peach, and I think Toad and Yoshi. But the advertising also showed like a Fire Flower Mario, and I couldn't find it. I spent like a good 15 minutes in a Walmart, like going through the little bin of the Mario toys, which were thankfully not blind boxes. Going through a bin of these like Mario toys made for babies, trying to see if there was a Fire Flower one. Been sounding normal? Okay, good. Well, I hope you guys' friend is doing alright. They may just be, like, doing a offline. A lot of people have been kind of doing that lately, just, like, spending quality time not being online. And with everything going on lately, I don't blame anybody. I think... Yeah, okay, cool. This is one of the games, most older games do this, but if you like have beat a stage, if you go grab a thing, you don't have to finish the stage again for it to save the fact that you got it. Oh, sweet, we can take a nap. Okay, everybody grab your favorite sugar-free, caffeine-free beverage of choice and take a nice big sippy. New bubble power from Wonder might be up your alley. I love the bubble power up. Mario Brothers Wonder in general was an absolute delight. I love that game so much. Fuck it, we become a ball. As a kid, my favorite was Yoshi. As a teen, I couldn't choose. Now, as a 27-year-old, I can say my favorite is Wario. Right behind him are the Kongs. Tied with Wario if I could determine which Kong is my favorite. I love Dixie Kong. I kind of don't think about the Donkey Kong characters being Mario characters. I know they're in a lot of the games, like spin-offs and stuff. Bald. To get my account back, I should try to DM her and see. I hope your friend's doing okay. Love Tiny Kong. Tiny Kong's super cute. I love that DK64 is actually on NSO now. Baja Blasted Southern Sweet Tea Flavored Kool-Aid. Ugh. Okay, locking in. Ow. Fuck. Wonderful little detail, if you watch the crowd, after the fight's over, they start moving way faster. Like, they're just, like, excited and freaking out. I like Kiddy Kong. I do, too, actually. I think the player character setup from DKC3 is really fun. Oh, wait. I thought this was the crane game for some reason. We're on a freaking blimp. Freaking blimp. Freaking blimp, we're on a freaking blimp. Blimp, blimp, blimp. Suplexing dudes on a freaking blimp. Ow, that hurt. Well, time for a sword. Suplexing dudes on a freaking blimp. Why am I getting hit by every goddamn thing? Parasol. 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 The caboose. Heart attack speedrun. Dry Bones and Shy Guy. Sounds like my kind of afternoon. I like the little scrunkle sound Kirby makes when he ducks. Fuck. I got birded. A lot of debate on whether DK is part of Mario or not. Lately, I've just been organizing my games by series and specific developers rather than franchise. That's resulted in stuff like Mario Kart or Wario Land being separated from main Mario games. I just do it based on vibes. Like, canonically, in my head brain, I have no problem with Donkey Kong being a part of the Mario series. Like, from a story perspective. But it's mostly like vibes and gameplay. Because, like, the Donkey Kong Country games provide a different gameplay experience than something like Super Mario Bros. 3 or something. I love the artwork. I do too. I love Kirby drawing his little Kirby on the default screen. But yeah, I love that every icon has its own artwork. Because when I was younger, a friend of mine and I actually were coming up with like our own hypothetical Kirby game. It was kind of like a sequel to Superstar. And we came up with a bunch of new abilities, and we did like little illustration cards for what it would look like on the HUD. And we did like new illustrations of returning abilities that we'd have in our little imaginary Kirby game too. Rolling around at the rolling around. I'm now in the water and no longer rolling. Excuse me, Mr. Sword. Boy, I really fucked this one up. Okay, redoing this. I said I don't use rewind for much, just... because this is like a whole sequence. Little paper dolls. Like, cutouts are one of my favorite things to make because I would draw the characters and their little accessories and stuff because when I was a kid, most of the stuff I was into did not have like real action figures. Nailed it! Let's go with the beans. Best ball. We are balling. Ow! Got freaking suplexed by a turtle. I bet his style fits tighter than a girdle. I love the fountains. This whole place is such a vibe, dude. I want to take a vacation here. Wait, give me that. Fuck. We got throw, which is actually different from suplex. Dinner in Kirby was very good. Thank you, Miss Steamy. You are welcome, Miss Jera. Yeah, throw. I wasn't being sarcastic. Throw actually is different from suplex. It doesn't have a bunch of moves like suplex, but you can throw it 8 directions, kinda. You can technically throw in down directions, but it's not terribly useful because you're usually standing on the ground when you use this. I do love Throw's little thing on the HUD, though. Like, getting fully team rocketed. The problem with Throw and Suplex is they're just not very useful in bosses or mini-boss fights. Ooh. Meta Knight 6's enemies on me sometimes, but throws me bonuses the other times. He's so very mysterious. And probably handsome also. I bet he sounds like Antonio Banderas. Wait, shit, I wanted that. Everyone's favorite Kirby game, Dreamland 3 and Superstar. I think Planet Robobot would be my third favorite, but that was like a decade ago. Morally gray characters in my Kirby game. My favorite is probably Superstar. Oh, we have mini doors. Life has many doors, and I somehow don't read that any of them are pull instead of push. Shit. No, 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 that didn't happen. Okay, so we want to go through this one first. Who would have known that the first thing they showed me is the first thing I should do? Oh, okay, I really thought that was going to be a solid wall. Okay, floating time. Doobie 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 doobie. A door. A wump. Kirby has a really satisfying one-up sound. Okay, so it is a solid wall on this side. Ooh, I feel like I got tricked. Or reverse tricked, because I guess I figured it out. Did I trick the game? I will say there are quite a few Kirby's I have not played all the way through. I didn't necessarily lose interest in the series or anything, but just due to finances and other things going on in life, I didn't really play much for the GBA or DS, Kirby-wise. So I haven't beaten, like, Amazing Mirror. Ironically, I have not played through Squeak Squad. Okay, let's be careful here. Also, I think this is my first... God fucking damn it. I think it's my first time noticing that when Kirby only has 1 health, your extra life counter starts dancing really fast. And this game drops a lot of shit on your head. Is it just me? Good job being careful. Thank you. I try my best. With Zelda, missed out on the DS and Wii games. Never had Minish Cap. You need to have Minish Cap. Minish Cap is peak. Like, I will say, if nothing else from this stream, if you're going to be playing GBA on your setup, which, you know, it's not difficult to emulate Game Boy Advance games, you need Minish Cap in your library. It is an absolute delight. Because it is, like, probably, like, tied for my second favorite Zelda game. It's not super long or anything. Most 2D Zeldas aren't. But it is absolutely worth it. It is just so fun and charming. Yo, why am I getting Gordo Bullet Hell here? What is this? I thought this was Kirby. It's this cute fun time. Like, I legitimately don't remember this section. God damn it, I was probably supposed to bring the fireball through here. Oh well. One day. Well, I know how hard it is to attack any element of a backlog of anything when you have ADHD. Like, you can sit there being wanting to play something, but your brain just says no. Never played it, but Kirby's Epic Yarn has an aesthetic I very much vibe with, especially at the time when it came out. I actually do have the original Wii version of that, so I should stream it sometime. My million things I want to stream. '2000s was a weird era for Kirby, certainly relevant with the anime, Air Ride, the remakes. It felt like actual mainline Kirby games, just strange and different. Well, that and the thing is, like, I feel like Kirby and Donkey Kong both had a really weird 2000s, and then got a Wii game that kind of put everything back on track, which would be, you know, Return to Dreamland for Kirby and Donkey Kong Country Returns for Donkey Kong. Even though I definitely have my opinions about the Returns games. They're good, though. Like, they are really good video games. I do get a little burnt out on people saying that they're the best Donkey Kong games ever because they're not really anything at all like the Super Nintendo trilogy. Not even close. Like, aside from who the main character is and the fact that, you know, you can jump after rolling off ledges, but they don't have the same vibe or game design or priorities or anything. I really came here to get an M tomato on the very first level and died trying to get to the M tomato. I'm doing great, you guys. Honestly, I'm probably just really tired and I need to wrap up the stream soon. Yeah, shit, it's been more than 3 hours at this point. Kerbin for 3 hours. You know, I'm gonna eat this M tomato anyway, because that's what I came here for. Ooh, it'll let me replay the crane game. Let's go for the guaranteed little wump. Well, a thing that gets me is that, like, I feel like with the DS and GBA Kirby games, well, there's a certain game that I'm actually going to play for a minute or two after this. But with the DS and GBA Kirby games, they kind of go back to the Kirby's Adventure style of only having each ability have one move. And that makes, like, certain elements of Amazing Mirror and Squeak Squad kind of awkward because they look like Superstar, but they don't really play like Superstar. Actually, you know what? I think I will go ahead and... Oh, I thought you could return to the title screen on this one, or is it... There we go. It's just the Game Boy code. Dang, I don't know how to feel about the fact that in one sitting we caught up with everything I had played on this game since, like, 2019. But that's just because I was, like, just kind of digging into it and teasing it a little bit. Here's my random suspend point from the last day of 2019. I don't even remember why I made a suspend point there. It's someone who would rank Tropical Freeze as my second favorite DK game, first being Country 2. Oh, I missed your other message. Give me a sec. Returns and Tropical Freeze are so different from the Super NES games. It's not a proper revival as much as just a new take. No different stuff like, yeah... It really isn't anything different something like Jungle Beat or Bonanza or whatever. Okay, one thing I want to show you guys real quick. Nope, the other purple one. Wish we could go back to that time for no particular reason. Like I've said before, the last 6 years have simultaneously been like 3 months and 30 years. But we're in the Game Boy Advance because... not that one. Not that one. Thought I could swear it was on here. Okay, apparently I'm hallucinating. Well, I was going to show you guys Kirby Nightmare in Dreamland, which is a Game Boy Advance game. And I could have sworn up and down that it was on NSO. Amazing Mirror is. Granted, Amazing Mirror makes sense because, you know, it has like the 4-player co-op. Give me just a sec. I hope this doesn't fry my freaking thingamabob. Give me a sec. There we go. Yeah, that's right. You guys are getting Wii U footage. Guys, this is so weird. Like, I do play my Wii U not too infrequently, but like this sound in particular is so nostalgic because Miiverse is how I met Maddie and Wit. So every day when I would come home from my stupid crappy job that I had when I was young, I would be so excited to get on Miiverse and see what everybody posted, and I was drawing a little comic that was based on Pokemon X and Y. And I'd post like each panel of the comic and draw every day. Training your capture device to fit a Wii U. But yeah, like my Wii U, like I do have a good amount of Wii U games, but it mostly was a jukebox for classics. Like I said, I could have swore Nightmare in Dreamland was on NSO, but yeah, Nightmare in Dreamland is, surprise, a full remake of Kirby's Adventure. Wii U was fun, even if it meant teenage me missed out on all the stuff my peers were playing. Well, to be fair, the PS3 and 360 was kind of the worst generation of video games. Oops, hot take for free, I guess. But yeah, this game always throws me off because, like I said, it plays like Adventure as far as the powers and everything go. Like it's a pretty close one-to-one remake. But it looks so much like Superstar that I forget. And so you even get the hats from Superstar, but you can't charge the beam up or do anything like that. Beams like a whip. Whoops. Beam it. Beam it, Chad. Spocking. Yeah, it's interesting because they gave Spark Plasma's color scheme from Superstar. XY era was peak. I loved the freaking 3DS Pokemon games so much, but X and Y and ORAS are like the best. The brown and gray era. Also, it's interesting because these 3 platforms are on like pillars that go up from the ground in you know, the NES version. So this is just such a weird choice, and it's functionally the same, but like, yeah, the backgrounds are like really interesting, I guess. Because this is interesting because like gameplay wise, this is a very faithful remake. But aesthetically, it like goes so far from the source material. It's interesting they did the opposite thing with the blocks, because like, remember it was like one of them didn't cast a shadow, but now there's only one that does. And you can still get an UFO. But also, look how freaking smooth and sexy the animation on the UFO is in this one. Like look, especially like when you're going upward. Oh, hey, the guy didn't get me that time. Interesting that, like, the max charge... God fucking damn it. The max charge for the UFO in this one is actually not a power star. Also, I love the freaking icon for UFO. Okay, this guy's got to fucking go. Beating my ass. You know, a part of me actually planned to play this instead of Adventure. And I didn't, like I said, I had forgotten this wasn't actually on NSO yet, so that would have been an embarrassing start to the stream. First Kirby game I ever played. I first learned about Kirby from Right Back At Ya. Kirby if he was Mulder. I love that icon. That's so good. I don't think I'd seen that icon, or at least I didn't remember it from when I played through this before. Beam it! Beam it! Choom, choom! Also, random fun fact that I feel like a lot of people completely forget. I don't think this is an obscure fact, it's just one of those that people never think about, is that Breath of the Wild is actually a Wii U game. Like, it has a Wii U release and everything. Because it is so strongly associated with the Nintendo Switch and its launch window, but it came out day and date on the Wii U. There are even people, like, joking and memeing about it. It's like, when the Game Awards gave Breath of the Wild the 2017 Game of the Year, you're like, guys, I just realized that Game of the Year was a fucking Wii U game. But yeah, there are actually quite a few things on Wii U that, still aren't on NSO. Same with Twilight Princess, though it's GameCube rather than Wii. Yeah. I think the only Wii games I ever bought in here, yeah, were Return to Dreamland and Resident Evil 4 Wii Edition. Got a few of my Wii U digital games. Gunman Clive's actually really good, by the way. I never bought the full version, so that's still the demo that asks you to buy the game. Do need to go now. Thank you for streaming. Thank you for the follow, and thank you for hanging out, Breadbug. It's been so fun to get to know you and stuff. Thank you. Let's see here. Oh yeah, because I remember... Because I think Super Ninja Brothers, or Little Ninja Brothers is actually on there? Mighty Final Fight. That's like one of those NES games that's ludicrously expensive. Oh, sweet. I did buy Gargoyle's Quest 2. I didn't remember if I did or not, because I had thought about it for a while. which is good because the Gargoyles Quest games are all really freaking good. Let's see here. Guess you guys get to see my Wii U collection, but a lot of these are probably getting streamed at some point anyway, so. Yeah, it's interesting. Breath of Fire 2 released on Wii, but not Breath of Fire 1 for the Virtual Console. And then Breath of Fire 1 was on Wii U Virtual Console, but they never put Breath of Fire 2 on there. So the Switch was the first time that, like, they were both emulated on the same console. Oops. Also, I need to recharge my gamepad sometimes, I guess. Like I said, I mostly play a lot of older stuff on Wii U, so I don't really think about the gamepad too much, because I'm just using the Wii U Pro Controller right now. This is the only time Bomberman 64 was re-released, which is like my favorite Bomberman game. It's funny because, like, the title screen, because this game in Japan is called Baku Bomberman, and that's what the kanji right there, and it reads as Baku. And they added a 64 to the title screen, but they never even edited the kanji out or did anything to move that. They just left it on there. Which, like, I'm not complaining, I just think it's a little funny. Because you guys saw my GBA stuff. Like, I bought a lot of GBA. Because a lot of this was stuff I just completely missed out on. This is the first time I played WarioWare. The 2 Klonoas, which, like anything Klonoa related on the secondhand market, these are very expensive. Though Empire of Dream is on the Switch NSO now. Red Rescue Team. Amazing Mirror. Tactics Advance is so freaking good. Of course, I bought Aria of Sorrow because I can never stop playing Aria of Sorrow. Yeah, both Friends of Mineral Town. Trying really hard not to just turn this into another Aria of Sorrow stream because it's like right there. Yeah, and TurboGrafx is interesting because they started adding TurboGrafx 16 games to Wii Virtual Console in 2017, like after the Switch came out. Wii U is the only major Nintendo console I've never had, so it always feels like I'm in a slightly different dimension whenever I see its home menu. It's also interesting because if you boot either a Wii disc or just a Wii game, you have to go into, like, Wii mode and use a freaking Wii remote or whatever. Like, it will not let you play... Okay, it's weird. It won't let you play these with the Wii U Pro Controller. But... if you have a digitally purchased Wii game on the Wii U that has classic controller compatibility, it will let you play it on the gamepad using the gamepad. But you can't play it on the TV using the gamepad. And you can't play it with the Wii U Pro Controller at all. And I'm like, what? Why is it so restrictive? Why is it like... Well, that comes down to another thing is, like I said before with Nintendo at the time was very much like would not even consider playing something in a way different than what they came up with. So a lot of the times you would get stuff like that where like with the GameCube adapter, with if you use it with a Switch or Switch 2, it'll let you use a GameCube controller on literally any video game. Um unless it requires Joy-Cons specifically. I basically it'll let you use it in anything that's compatible with a Switch Pro controller, which is like 99% of the library. But if you use the Wii U controller, the GameCube controller adapter on a Wii U, it will literally only let you use it with Super Smash Bros. For Wii U. It won't even let you use it to play Wii games on a GameCube controller, even if they're compatible. Like if you put Sonic Colors Wii Disc in your Wii U and you hook up the GameCube adapter, you cannot use the GameCube controller, even though if you played it on a Wii and used a GameCube controller. Heart, you're in Sir Pokemon Sapphire. Hey, Gigi, I mean, Fire Red and Leaf Green are on Switch now. So I feel like it's a matter of time before Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald are available on Switch. Because, I mean, they did put XD Gale of Darkness in the GameCube NSO. It is a little weird they put XD on there before Coliseum, but it's there. Not going to complain. But, all right, I do believe I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up for now because I'm getting a little bit eepy. It's already like 11:30. I was looking on online, see if anybody was online streaming Go Raid, but it doesn't look like anybody is, and that's okay. No, hey, but I feel like XD was easier because it's less of a game than Coliseum. That's honestly true. Like, you're not wrong. Granted, I feel like with Coliseum, maybe they want to try to do some kind of compatibility with, because like XD is just the single player RPG. It has the ability to trade with the GBA games, but it's not really that necessary. But with Coliseum, the GBA compatibility I think is a big part of that game. So I do wonder if they're trying to work out something to make the NSO version of Coliseum actually be able to interact with the digital versions of like Fire Red and Leaf Green, and hopefully potentially Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald. So I'm hoping they would do that because like I want them to release Red, Blue, and Yellow and let them have compatibility with the NSO versions of the Pokemon Stadium games, because playing those games with rentals is kind of fucking miserable sometimes, especially Stadium 2. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. Thank you so much, you guys, for coming by. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, everybody. Good night. Bye-bye. Bye, 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 bye. Squeaky squeak.